Hey guys, what day is it gonna be tomorrow? Thursday? Right? It's Wednesday today? I feel like I ask that every time. Yeah, it's Wednesday today, so it's gonna be Thursday. Hilarious. You've been doing a great job this week. Yesterday, I really want to shout out NYU. Everybody checked in, probably for the first time in weeks. I was very emotional. So yeah, keep doing that. Keep putting your attendance where it should go. Where should it go? In the stream on Google Classroom. Right in that comment section where you see everybody saying, here, do it. So Pace, I challenge you to be my second class. And Columbia, just kidding. Columbia, you could totally do it. You're great. Alright, yesterday you guys did your do now, which was about a nightmare. I haven't popped in to look at them yet, but hopefully that was an easy journal for you guys to write. Keep in mind, journal is worth 10 points. The question slides are only worth 6 points each normally, depending on how many questions are there. And your exit ticket's only worth 4 moving forward. I'm trying to make journals worth the most so that the free writing aspect of your day can, carry you through the quarantine blues. You can write creatively, you can have a good time. So yeah, journal is super important this quarter. So write down anything you're thinking. All right, yesterday you guys wrote down the 2 characters that had, weapons technically and tried to fight. We had to write about Cherry and Ponyboy. What couldn't they be and why couldn't they be it? You wrote 3 character motivations, and then you inferred what Cherry meant when she said it's not personal. And lastly, you told me what it meant when Pony said he wished he was dead and buried somewhere. All right, today we have 5 questions. So kind of a lot more than maybe we usually have. 2 more questions than we normally have. So it should be exciting. We're going to define the word phony. We're going to say what motivates Johnny to say that he wanted to kill himself. We're going to describe the details in Ponyboy's dream. And then 7, we're going to say why did the author use the phrase that they had all frozen. And the last question, how does Johnny and Ponyboy, how do they show comfort to each other? This is a pretty dramatic scene coming up. All right, before we jump in, so we're gonna pause our video here and open vocabulary.com, and you guys are gonna study your words. Remember, Friday is your test day. So if you don't know your words yet, it is savvy, appeal, incredulous, hesitation, and rebellious. Some of you have reached out and told me that you mastered the first list already on vocabulary.com, and you are already moving on to other chapters of The Outsiders. I applaud you. I cried when you sent me that message. I'm proud of you. Yeah, just keep moving forward if you are done and you have mastered those lists. Okay? So again, pause the video here, do your 5 minutes of studying, and I will see you in 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, hey, welcome back. For people who watch this straight through, you probably think I'm ridiculous when I say pause the video. Leave me a comment if you actually pause the video, so I know that you do that. I'm also trying to drink some coffee. Chrisley, you sent me a message saying that I had a really good energy this time around, and that I should keep that up, so I'm gonna try. Even though I'm exhausted and it's 6 o'clock at night. Okay. We studied vocab. We're ready to rock. We opened our notes. We're gonna go to slide 5. Right off the bat, I know that the first 2 questions are things that we already covered in the text. So real quick, I am going to find the word phony. And, an easy way to just do this is, on your own, just look up the definition of phony. But I'm gonna look up the word phony. Okay, the word phony was on page 41. I'm gonna write this down because I know 20 of you are gonna be like, Miss Michener, I don't know where that word was yesterday. So page 41. 2-Bit said Marsha's number is what he pulled out of his pocket. Probably a phony one. I must have been out of my mind to ask for it. I think I'm a little soused. What does he mean when he says phony? He took a paper out of his pocket, he rips it up, and he says, it must have been a phony one. All right, what words could we put in place of phony? Go ahead, yell it at me. Like we're in Dora the Explorer. Didn't we play that yesterday? What could phony mean? Oh yeah, I think I got it. Fake. Yeah, somebody said fake. That's right. Yeah, the number could totally be fake. He doesn't believe Marsha really liked him. And unfortunately, guys, she did. And the number was probably real. And he throws it away. Just like his chances with her. All right. Number 5. So we just defined phony using clues. Again, the way that we know this is through... I'm trying to think of which context clue it was. I guess it's explanation because he's ripping up the paper, so we know that he doesn't believe it's real. That's a tough one to name the context clue. But you could just say through his, we know because he rips it up, so he doesn't believe it's real. Okay. 5. What motivated Johnny to say he wanted to kill himself? This was when they were out at home, or out in the vacant lot. They weren't at home. So for this, we should go to page 42 at the top. Johnny says that he wants to kill himself right after Ponyboy makes this speech. So let's listen again to Ponyboy's speech. Big time socials, all right. I said with a nervous bitterness growing inside of me. It wasn't fair for the socials to have everything. We were as good as they were. It wasn't our fault that we were greasers. I couldn't just take it or leave it like 2-Bit, or ignore it and love life anyway like Soda Pop, or harden myself beyond caring like Dally, or actually enjoy it like Tim Shepard. I felt tension growing inside of me. I knew something had to happen or I would explode. I can't take much more. Johnny spoke my own feelings. I'll kill myself or something. So for this one, right, right between the dialogue, the author says, Johnny spoke my feelings. So Johnny says, I'll kill myself. This is how Pony is feeling right now. He wants to, he can't take it anymore, how much some people have these better opportunities, and he doesn't really enjoy his life right now. He doesn't like what being a greaser has to offer him. Okay, so again, for number 1, you're on page 41 for evidence, and for 2, we're on page 42. This is all stuff we read yesterday. Most people too, again, when you're writing your answers and evidence, you gotta put both, okay? When I look at it, I'm grading it 2 points. If you have an answer, you get 1. If you have your quote, you get 2. All right, if you need to pause, and that's cool too. I'm about to start reading about the flashback he had right before he fell asleep. All right, all we need for our flashback question is some imagery about his country life. So we could say that the yellow dog that he saw. We could talk about, it says on the bottom of 42, Mom could bake chocolate cakes, right? I could see that, I could kind of smell it baking in a kitchen. Dad slaps Derry on the back, right? There's so many images, you really, I don't think, need me for that one. But again, why does the author show so much detail? I think it's showing us how much he misses his parents and maybe what his life used to be like before they passed away. So lots of really positive and like happy images in his country life that he was wishing for. All right, look at us go. So now we can answer our last 2 problems, 7 and 8. We're only going to read to page 46. I actually think that's the end of the chapter. Why does the author use the phrase, "We had all frozen," and how do Johnny and Ponyboy comfort each other? This is a pretty intense scene, so trigger warning. Got some family abuse going on in this scene. If you want to read it yourself and not listen to the audio, that's cool. But yeah, it's a rough one to watch in the movie for sure. All right. So they had just woken up. They realized Johnny and Pony accidentally fell asleep in the lot. And Johnny said, or Pony said to Johnny, if you wanted to come over later, you can. We found out that Johnny doesn't sleep at home. He's kind of homeless. He doesn't sleep at home. All right. I ran home, trembling at the thought of facing Derry. The porch light was on. Maybe they were asleep and I could sneak in, I thought. I peeked in the window. Soda Pop was stretched out on the sofa, sound asleep. But Derry, he was in the armchair, under the lamp, reading the newspaper. He's gonna get caught. He's gonna get busted. Okay. I gulped and opened the door slowly. Derry looked up from his paper. He was on his feet in a second. I stood there, chewing on my fingernail. Where the heck have you been? Do you know what time it is? He was madder than I'd seen him in a long time. I shook my head wordlessly. Well, it's 2 a.m, kiddo. Another hour and I would have had the police out after you. Where were you, Ponyboy? His voice was rising. Where in the almighty universe were you? It sounded dumb even to me when I stammered. I went to sleep in the lot. You what? He was shouting. Soda Pop sat up and rubbed his eyes. Hey, Ponyboy, he said sleepily. Where you been? I didn't mean to, I pleaded with Derry. I was talking to Johnny, and we both dropped off. I reckon it never occurred to you that brothers might be wearing their heads off, afraid to call the police because something like that could get you two thrown in a boys' home so quick and make your head spin. And you were asleep in the lot? Pony, what on earth is the matter with you? Can't you use your head? You haven't even got a coat on. I felt hot tears of anger and frustration rising. I said I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to, Derry shouted, and I almost shook. I didn't think. I forgot. That's all I hear out of you. Can't you think of anything? Derry, Soda Pop began, but Derry turned on him. You keep your trap shut. I'm sick and tired of hearing you stick up for him. He should never yell at Soda. Nobody should ever holler at my brother. I exploded. You don't yell at him, I shouted. Derry wheeled around and slapped me so hard that it knocked my head against the door. Suddenly, it was deathly quiet. We had all frozen. Okay, guys, so stop there, page 44. What does the author mean on 44 when it said we had all frozen? Text evidence that we could use is gonna happen in the next part of the paragraph, so I'm gonna keep reading. But you guys can figure that out. Why did they freeze in this moment? Why are they not moving or saying anything? Nobody in my family had ever hit me. Nobody. Soda was wide-eyed. Derry looked at the palm of his hand where it turned red, and then he looked back at me. His eyes were huge. Ponyboy? I turned and ran out the door and down the street as fast as I could. Derry screamed, Pony, I didn't mean to. But I was at the lot by then and I pretended that I couldn't hear. I was running away. It was plain to me that Derry didn't want me around, and I wouldn't stay if he did. He wasn't ever gonna hit me again. Johnny, I called. And he started when he rolled over and jumped up almost at my feet. Come on, Johnny, we're running away. Johnny asked no questions. He's ready to go. And I lost my place. Johnny asked no questions. We ran for several blocks until we were both out of breath. Then we walked. I was crying by then. I finally just sat down on the curb and cried, burying my face in my arms. Johnny sat down beside me, one hand on my shoulder. Easy, Ponyboy, he said softly. We'll be okay. So again, comforting. I think our last question is asking that. Number 8, explain how Johnny and Ponyboy comfort each other. One piece of text evidence could definitely be this moment right here on 45. Johnny put his hand on his shoulder. He's sitting right next to his friend, right? And he says, we'll be okay, right? 3 things. Sitting next to your friend, physical, hand on the shoulder, that gives comfort, and reassuring him through his words. I finally calmed down and wiped my eyes on my bare arm. My breath was coming in quivering sobs. Got a cigarette. He handed me one and struck a match. Johnny, I'm scared. Don't be, you scaring me. What happened? I've never seen you bawl like that. I don't very often. It was Derry. He hit me. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't take him hollering at me and hitting me too. I don't know, sometimes we get along okay. And then all of a sudden he blows up at me, or else he's nagging at me all the time. He didn't used to be like that. We used to get along okay before Mom and Dad died. Now he just can't stand me. I think I like it better when the old man's hitting me. Johnny sighed. Oh, this is the sad part. Ooh, I hate this part. I think I like it better when the old man is hitting me, Johnny sighed. At least then I know that he knows who I am. I walk in the house, nobody says anything. I walk out, nobody says anything. I stay out all night, nobody notices. At least you got soda. I ain't got nobody. So, guys, that's really sad. Johnny says at home the only attention he gets is physical abuse. And he says even getting hit is kind of nice because at least his parents are paying attention to him. It's really messed up. Shoot, I said, startled out of my misery. You got the whole gang. Dally didn't slug you tonight because you're the pet. I mean, golly, Johnny, you got the whole gang. It ain't the same as having your own folks care about you, Johnny said simply. It just ain't the same. I was beginning to relax and wonder if running away was such a great idea. I was sleepy and freezing to death, and I wanted to be home, in bed, safe and warm under the covers, Soda's arm right across from me. I decided that I could go home and just not speak to Derry. It was my house as much as Derry's, and if he wanted to pretend I wasn't alive, then that was just fine by me. He couldn't stop me from living in my own house. Let's walk to the park and back. Then, maybe, I'll be cooled off enough to go home. Okay, Johnny said easily. Okay. Things gotta get better, I figured. They couldn't get worse. I was wrong. Oh. Hey, Fitz. You're up. You want to say hi to the gang? We just finished our chapter. Want to say hi? This Fitz. He was the star of the last video. Well, Stevie was, I guess. Alright. Well, while my dog is weird in the background, we're going to go back and just read over our exit ticket. So you guys were able to tell me what phony meant today. Fake. Johnny wanted to kill himself because he didn't like being a greaser and how messed up it was between the greasers and socias. You guys cited a detail from Ponyboy's dream. That yellow dog, the mom baking a cake, dad patting Derry on the back. We figured out why the boys were frozen. No one had ever hit Ponyboy before, so they were shocked. And then finally, we had comfort between the friends. They sat next to each other, they put their arm on each other, they talked to each other. Great job. Alright, now we're going to cite some text evidence that shows the friendship between Pony and Johnny. So I would really push you guys, let's not pick the quote about the arm and sitting next to each other. Maybe this time around, you know, let's choose some evidence that Pony tells Johnny to comfort him. So for your exit ticket, I would love if you guys could cite from page 45 at the bottom. Ponyboy talking about how Johnny, you know, has the love of his whole gang. Okay, that's enough for today. All you're gonna do after today is turn this in. Friday will be your quiz for the chapter and your vocab, and we're done for the week. So really nice job by everybody. Love you, miss you, and we kept it to 20 minutes. See ya.